and making choices. So I have a few folks in here today that have not been in some of our previous sessions, and I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Kristi Meeuswe. I teach kindergarten in Charleston, South Carolina at Drayton Hall Elementary. We have about 860 students, and we have been a one-to-one iPad school for the last 4 years. We are an Apple Distinguished School. So a lot of good things going on there. In October, we have a school site visit. Apple is bringing in, or opening up, I should say, registration for visitors. So if you'd like to come, take a little road trip. You're welcome to see the whole school. You'll see several classrooms at each grade level. And that's October 22nd. The way that works is it's a half-day tour, and we come back together at the end and we have a question-answer panel, and it's just really a fun time. We always get lots of good feedback from those tours. I don't have the registration. You're back?
I'm back.
I don't have the registration link for that, but if you email me sometime in September, I can probably get that registration link for you. It's free. You just have to register before you come. But would love to see some of you there. So today we're going to talk about a resource that I found, I've known about for a few years, but really couldn't see the value initially of it in an early childhood setting. And boy, was I wrong, because it is a gold mine. And I'm excited to share some of that with you. We're going to get started on a little bit of a course of our own. The good news about iTunes U is that you can build a course on both your MacBook and your iPad. It's not one or the other. The only downside is that you can only interact with the course on an iPad or an iOS device, so an iPhone or an iPad. But you can build in either device, the laptop or the MacBook. I'm sorry, the laptop or the iPad. So we're going to go through a few things here, and as always, feel free to stop and ask questions, very informal. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what iTunes U is and why you should use it. So it's a free repository of educational content. There is so much content already out there. Some people choose not to write their own. They choose to interact with courses that have already been created by other educators. I know Michigan, Boyne County, has a ton of stuff out there. And while all of that is great, and I encourage you to go out and look and see what's there, we're going to talk today a little bit about why it's great to create your own content. Students do have access to anytime, anywhere learning, and it's easily updated and changed. Now, as I said, creating your own course can be pretty powerful. It's more meaningful. The learning is customized to what you want your kids to learn. And again, easy to create and update. But the best thing about iTunes U is it's a one-stop shop, because everything is in one place. Your documents, your books, your videos, your resources, if you have PDFs, anything you want for those students to have access to, it will upload into the course manager, and you just create an assignment, and it's right there. And again, this presentation is on the wiki, so as you're taking notes that are meaningful to you, also know that this whole presentation will be on the wiki, on the conference wiki. Okay, so the one thing that I've had to learn to do with iTunes U is you start backwards with your end goal, and then you plan that way. So if you want your end goal to be a certain standard or a certain project or certain standards or projects, you think about that end goal in mind. Actually, that is good teaching, honestly. When you're thinking about teaching, you're looking at that assessment piece. But I also tend to be the person, when I sit down to write, like a blog post or when I'm creating my books for my students, I like to just sit and create at the computer. I'm not much of a rough draft person. I just usually sit down and go with it and then make edits as I go. You can certainly do that with iTunes U, but it's very helpful if you have that end goal in mind and work backwards. So if your end goal is for students to, in studying the Civil War, as our 4th grades do at our school, if the teacher has these end goal targets in mind, then she works backwards in thinking about how are we going to get to those targets and what resources do I need for those targets to come about, all right? Then you're going to decide if the course is self-paced or if it's in session. In session means it's real time. It's calendar based. So you say, by January 19th, this is due, okay? And it needs a start and an end time. So I have several Apple Distinguished Educator friends who use exclusively iTunes U. That's how all their content is delivered in their classroom. And because they already have that content built, they use in session, and all they do is change that start and end date. And that way everything is already built, they can make quick updates, it's already done. Self-paced, the benefits of that is you can start it at any time, you can end it at any time. The outline of the class provides the structure. So that outline is telling you, first you're doing this, next you're doing this, all the way through to the end. And the one thing that will help as you're creating these courses is if you start with an outline in mind. And so you think about what's most important, and you put that in an outline. Okay, so how do you get started? Well, first you have to have an Apple ID, which all of you should have. Now, if your school or institution has a iTunes U channel, is what it's called, then you are able to share your work publicly with the world. My district does have an iTunes U channel, but for various reasons right now they're not publishing work. I am publishing some work through the Apple Distinguished Educator channel, but it's okay if you don't have a channel, because what you do is you then share your enroll code with your students, and they can enroll right from their device. So I have a Civil War course that I'll share with you in a little while. It's not public, it's made by one of the teachers in my school, but she is sharing this enroll code so that anybody can access the course. So even though you may not have a channel in your district, you still have the means to publish content and to share the content. Your Apple ID and your password are your logins, and this is what it looks like on the login screen. Collaboration is a huge part of being an educator, and it's something that it's very difficult to do sometimes because we practice, it seems like we're all in private practice in some ways. But collaboration is such an important part of our professional life, and this is a great way for you to collaborate with other people on your team so you're not creating the wheel all by yourself. You can gather resources. If you're all on a grade level teaching the same thing, somebody can get the website, somebody else could get the books that you want, somebody else could get the apps that you want, and curate is the word I'm looking for, curate all of these resources, and then you just put it together in one class. So 5 people can help, and an unlimited number of people can join. The best part about the learning at your own pace is if your students take your devices home, our students do not, but many of them have access to devices at home, the learning can continue at home. Parents can join your course and see what's going on. So it's that anytime, anywhere learning aspect, but it also opens it up so your parents can be supportive and be a part of it as well. All right, so we're going to see if this will work. Let's take a look at a couple of samples in the Course Manager. All right, so this is what the login screen looks like. And I'm going to log in. And I can see here all of my courses that have been created, okay? So right here is the list of all the courses that I'm either currently working on or have completed. The Straight Hall Elementary School, I'm happy to share that code with you as well. That is different samples of work and all the things that go on in our school. So, and the way I can share that enroll code is if I come over here to the little cog and touch on it and get the enroll code. All you would need to get into this course is to go to the iTunes U app on your device, scroll down, or actually go in and add the course in the top, and you'll put in ETL-CCE-ASE, and I believe uppercase matters. All right, so I'm going to show you here. This is a course that I created for my class. This is the one that we first started on this year, and it's called Spinning Spiders. So every course is built like this. You see on the left the menu, the overview, the instructor, the outline. You won't see the ADE program, but you have to put a little instructor bio in there. And then there's my outline. Could not be simpler, could it? It's just 4 little things. Now this would be an activity that we would interact in class together in the fall, because that's when we do our unit. It would be late October when we would do this. Now, across the bottom, right now I'm in the info tab. I'm going to come across to posts. And you can see here, the students would see this. They would not, of course, see this sidebar. They would just see this. Here's the introduction to the topic. Now, if I click on this arrow, this takes me into the working view where I actually type those things and create assignments. All right, so right here, I typed my intro. Spiders are not insects, spiders are arachnids. Insects have 6 legs and 3 body parts. Spiders have 8 legs and only 2 body parts. Read this book on spiders. So this is where I would add. I can't actually look at these things right here, because remember, in order to interact with the course, you have to look at it on your iOS device. Mm-hmm. So all I can see here are my assignment and the materials that I have put in that assignment. All right. Now I'm going to go back. This is what we are in the course manager. So this would be where you would build a course. Watch this Bill Nye the Science Guy video. Look at this website and read about arachnids. Spiders lay eggs. Look at this website and read about spiderlings. These would be things we would do together, obviously, because they can't read all of this in October. Draw a picture of a spider you have seen on our drawing pad app. Okay? Then I would come down to the next one, where do they live? Building understanding. So there's some information here. Here's our assignments. Information, more assignments. What do they eat? Fun with spiders. Songs, poems, and review, applying the learning. And see, I have to do all of that for the ADE. You wouldn't have to write all that. But there are many songs, stories, and poems about spiders. So I've added some links to some songs. It's that basic. Now, are a little of building. Build it. You can build it a section at a time. A review for a test or something. If you did a large unit on the Civil War or some other large content, you could then build it into a review and add to it. Ultimately, that review section could be the last part of your course, and you can go back and add other sections as you feel comfortable building. If you're doing, like for instance, the spider one, if I'm not really sure, if I don't feel overly confident or comfortable in building out the whole course, I can just start with one section. I can see how we did with that, and then I can kind of monitor and adjust and go, okay, before we go to the next section, I need to make a few changes. We need to look at this kind of thing. My kids really didn't get some of the concepts I wanted them to get, so I need to go back and I need to reteach some things. I can put that in there as well. You don't have to have a complete finished product to deliver it to your students. You can deliver it one outline, number, or section at a time. All right, so maybe coming back to this. Let's go back to this. So getting started, this is where in a new course, when you start a new course, you would put in the name of the course, short name. It can be the same thing. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Department, some of this isn't required. Auburn School Department, this is a friend of mine's work from Maine. You would choose a level, that's generally grade level, language, category, science, math, that sort of thing, and then an optional subcategory. And then you would add an image, and you really have to add an image. I don't think it'll let you publish it or put it out there without an image. So you just drag and drop something in there. So finding images for both that little course icon and the images in which you're putting in your course. You would need non-copyright material. Obviously, you can get it from Creative Commons, Flickr, or you can use your own pictures. Obviously, if you're just sharing it with your classroom, sometimes the rules are a little grayer than if you were publishing this out to the public. Okay, so like I was saying, when you complete the course, you can always add new material, and so you don't have to worry about finishing it. You get ready to share the course, and then in the admin tab, that's where you can share it out. And we're going to take a look at this shortly. So there's that enrollment code, just like I showed you, and you can share the link. Now, one of the things that I like to click is enable course enrollment and auto approve enrollment. The reason I like to do that is because if I share a code with you for a class but I don't allow auto enrollment, every time somebody wants to join, I have to go in and give them permission. So clearly, if you are going to share this with your classroom, when you do auto enrollment, that'll just save you having to go in however many number of students you have that many times to approve it. So we're going to get started. So I see all of you have either a laptop or a iOS device. So I want you to go in to the course manager, and the way you get there, let me go back to that screen, is this address right here. If you don't want to type all that in, you can just internet search Course Manager iTunes U.
So you don't go to your iTunes U app?
No. Course Manager is different from the app. And you'll know you're in the right place. Well, I'm logged in. Let's see. Yep, I'm logged in. But you will see it kicks me out every time. Hold on 1 second. You'll see that login screen right there.
It really forces you to do a bio, doesn't it?
It does. It really does force you to do this. Kind of a little extra source, all that matters, but through some of
What was the link to
do all. Once then all you do is just add a new course.
so excited that you were doing
Oh,
today because I still have to create. So,
like I said, really allows you to deliver content videotaped, but I just have to tell you, your computer that state content. All right, iTunes, is it? I just so let.
Thank you.
Even if you are, if your school district has a channel, it won't let you do approved. So it'll send it off and approve. Within it's making you type your bio. That's what it's making you do. Just right. Of course, right. Yeah.
You know what? I would be
is to mirror up if it will let out the material. Getting a good start and start. Now I find it by the Smithsonian Institute. I'm still scrolling through. So you can see she's put a lot of thought into this and she spent a lot of time. But this was something she built over time. This was not something she sat down and built in one sitting or 2 or 3 sittings. This was something that as she was thinking ahead to this unit, she started working along and along. Now she's a bit of an overachiever like me, so it is a very comprehensive course. So I don't want you to look at that and go, oh Lord, I can't even do that. Think of it one section at a time. Start small, manageable chunks, and then you can add on. Because what will happen is every time you add on, it'll put a little number on the icon in the iTunes U bookshelf of sorts that will let you know there's an update. Okay?
You don't have to have a code to go to that, right?
To this you do, and I've asked her for it, so hopefully it will come in shortly. This is, like, again, our district is not publishing right now for various reasons that I don't understand, but all the enroll codes are available. Now, the courses I've written 2, one on personalized learning, and that's for teachers, and then one for my students. Those are both public on the Apple Distinguished Educator channel in the iTunes U area there. So I'm looking at materials now. I'm just looking right here. This is the post for the beginning of her Civil War, and it's got all of her instructions right there. So you can just see, this is just a sample. You can see her introduction, and then please do the following. And then here's the assignments. And of course, obviously, some of these things will have to be downloaded, but once they touch that, it'll download the item to that student's iPad. She's got vocabulary in there. One of the things, as I was at earlier, it really does much more picture things. Start putting it in a document like this. One of the making your work through an institutional channel is that you can have kind of like this message that. Okay. And I'll tell you one of the things, I'm glad she's doing this, she actually added her materials and getting her first assignment up here. One practices, very quick is they are to do. There's no action verb. So go to library, and then go to plus. Unless this was the book, or is this the
No,
course?
that's just what I was looking at.
Okay, so create a course, and then you'll fill in, just say.
So if I go to Library Plus, and I've downloaded this.
Mhm. Sync. This district, the ADE there is fabulous. She's written most of those courses.
So if I sync it, then I open it in.
That means you can open it across all your devices. That has all of your iOS devices.
And iTunes U.
Yes.
All right.
Meeuswe.
Okay, so I want to add to all about the art.
Okay. So the first thing you'll want to do is create an outline.
Okay, so the outline goes first.
Mhm.
Okay.
And even if you only do a couple of outline points, whatever, just to kind of get you started. You may not know the end point yet.
So Kristi, once I've got this,
Uh-huh.
library.
Well, you're in it, and you go to posts.
Posts.
And then this shows you all the assignments. You would have to have that app.
Oh, I got you. So you wouldn't use any, okay, you would only use things
Mhm.
that
Like
the children have access to on there. I got you. So what did you say about choosing the license?
I usually just choose non-commercial, I'm sorry, yeah.
Non-commercial.
Attribution, non-commercial.
Share license.
I would say
Or
you
home district.
Mhm.
wants to drive home with you. Do that anymore.
Right.
So these apps in the library.
You have to publish it now.
So if I go to edit, click done.
So tap here, and then and you can see it. That's the one benefit about creating on the iPad is that you can see instantly what it'll look like. I mean, I can see it on my iPad to some degree, I mean on my laptop to some degree, but you would see it just like your students would see it right there. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Every time I go in to choose an image, I get this spinning ball of
Oh, you know what? You don't have to do your image right now.
Oh.
So get out of
I
that.
won't even, well,
Let's-
I mean, I
I was gonna say you can force quit.
I'm just playing material.
The image, I usually do that last.
I thought I had to do it.
Yeah, no, and the reason that I do it last is because it takes forever and the size is very picky. But it has to be 600
Right,
It
that's
hurts
exactly
right
right.
straight up, and mine is just now.
Well, I thought it did what me.
None of this is
Correct.
I mean, I said say, but that doesn't make us a picture of the job.
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
We'll ask her.
And then, does it use now you can.
Force quit.
So how do you add more out?
And then just
When you save it, it's not published. right?
no, and then you'll go in to edit and you will post. And
Okay.
so right now you're kind of in a draft.
Yeah, I'm kind of working on it out.
Right, and that's important. So when you get through with all of this and you add some assignments, it'll all look like, it'll all be like draft. And so in order to see it, you have to go into post and hit post. And then that means it's live and viewable on the iOS device.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not viewable to anybody else because they don't have the code for it, but it's viewable to you only on the iOS device.
Okay.
How to?
You came up.
Okay, so you have to choose a license, and I always do attribution non-commercial. And then,
I don't even know the course name.
there's something here that's funny. Choose, is it science? And next. Yeah. You create a new course. Oh, you're wanting to work on that, okay. Just a quick iTunes course that gives you an overview of our school. It shares some of our student work in Book Creator, Chatterpix, Drawing Pad, Explain Everything. So there's just some different samples there, some of our apps, some projects for each grade level. So that's a kind of neat course that you can look at that just kind of gives you an idea what's going on at my school, but also a way to show how you can set up a course.
So when would you add a page? Because that seems a bit different than what the outline is. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Like what would be the purpose of the new
The, well, if you needed to add more pages than what's on there for like your assignment.
Okay.
So are you in, let's go back to our outline. Right, so right, it didn't save.
Okay.
You have to, in the MacBook, you have to save before you change out and go someplace else.
Okay.
So when, whatever you write here, then you would add an
Mhm.
assignment, whatever, like, look at this book on such and such, and then
Mhm.
here you would attach the material. And
Okay.
you'll have a, when you click attach the material from my computer, I'm sorry, from my materials,
Mhm.
and then it'll show you the list of materials and you would like
Okay.
it. So you don't want this posted out.
How can I bring content from the internet sources?
the address,
Okay.
and then add in materials the website. So like double click and go out to the internet and get your